So welcome to another video from the playersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And first off, you might notice we're in what looks like a different location. We're actually at Grant's house. And if you've watched any of the videos at Grant's house, this might also look like a new location still. But really we're just...
the same room.
Normally we sit right over there, but we're shooting this way today.
Yeah, normally we shoot facing north, or south, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And now today we're facing north. You know, so you got one dog going this way and one dog going that way.
Exactly.
So
you can see his nice little SPQR poster that's hidden behind this giant box. And
part of my
prancing pony
little thing.
A little bit of insight into Grant's life.
Sure.
But we are here today. We just came back from Gencon 2023. So this is kind of our little Gencon debrief. We went just the one day this year.
Just one day.
I know we said that last year. And then we went another day.
Yeah.
But today is Saturday. We just went on the Saturday today. And I think at this point, Gen Con we go to like just kind of for fun, to go shopping and to enjoy ourselves and see everything that there is to see there.
Well, as many of you know, Gen Con is not about war games.
No.
Right? There's not necessarily open wargaming. There's only a very few publishers that even are there. Osprey, Avalon Hill, and Hasbro, who's now Renegade.
Columbia used to be there,
but I didn't see them this year.
Decision is sometimes there.
And they weren't there
didn't
this
see
year.
them this year either.
So it's not about war games. We seek those out, like we walked through Enterprise.com's.
Yeah, Enterprise. Oh no, it's Games Plus.
Games Plus. Sorry, Enterprise.com's like a rental car.
Enterprise Games is a different deal, but yeah.
So you know, we always find them, and we spent 30 minutes there. I just didn't pull the plug on anything.
No, I was having a nose through. Weirdly this year I was looking for specific things.
Yeah.
Where sometimes I go in there and whatever tickles my fancy. And I picked up Kaiser's Pirates last year, which I haven't touched.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a World War I.
That's a World War I game. We could add that to our Guns of August event. Our mini Guns of August event. Not mini as in multiple, M-I-N-I.
Yes, mini.
Already grown to 4 games.
Yeah. So...
maybe 5th.
Well...
Dogfight.
Oh, yeah, well, that's... okay. I promised myself this wouldn't happen. So...
Promises.
Yeah. Gen Con, it falls at the beginning of August. And we'd also agreed to do like a little miniature Guns of August World War I event. We did one a couple of years ago where we played like, I don't know, like 15 World War I games. It went quite long.
4 months, I think.
Because we got so excited.
Oh, it was so great.
We did not do one the following year.
Nope. We had enough.
A little bit burnt out. But we've got a bunch of new ones, and it was like, okay, we can pick this one and this one and this one. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We did just pick up 2 World War I games
right here. But we're not planning on playing... We might play Dogfight, because it's like a 10-minute game.
20 minutes, 10 minutes. That one might actually hit the table.
This one we're probably going to wait next year or later on.
Yeah, not...
But we want to get like 5 or 6 people together to try it.
Yeah. So just know we're joking about Guns of August. That's also something that's going on kind of in our wargaming life for the next few weeks as well. So that joke might come up a few more times.
Hopefully just a few weeks, though. That's what I want to make sure we just do.
But Gen Con this year, once again, we just went on the Saturday. We drove down in the morning.
Very crowded, I thought, this year. I mean, we've been in years past.
Yes.
More so on Saturday, more crowded, more people.
I feel like, do you remember last year? We went on Thursday, it was rammed.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went back on Saturday.
And it
less
wasn't.
busy.
Yep, I would agree with that. This year, that was not the case.
It was still rammed. Apparently Thursday was even worse.
Okay.
So it was similar flow, but this year, all the badges were sold out. Saturday badges and 4-day badges were sold out, which was more than last year, I think. Like there were signs saying you can't even get a badge no more.
And that's a good sign. You know, it's something we always talk about personally, because we want Gen Con to stay in Indianapolis.
Yeah. It's convenient for us.
We're based here. Tonight we're going back for a dinner. And that's not something we could do if it was in Milwaukee necessarily. We would just have to stay in a hotel. But it's great that it's continued to grow. Even a couple of years ago, they had a little bit of difficulty, I think, with their contract nearing the end. But think it continues to grow. I think it continues to expand. The brand is getting, I think, more and more attention. And frankly, Gen Con is a blast. I never don't have a good time. Whether we're there 3 days, a day, or a day and a half, we were there for 4 hours today.
Yeah, we weren't there for all that long.
And I had a blast. 4 full hours, and we didn't get to see everything, but we walked most of the exhibit hall.
Yeah.
And as you can see, we dropped a few bills.
And I think, part of it is that Gen Con is very typically the weekend after WBC.
Which we go to WBC and we usually do 5 or 6 days, and we're
there,
exhausted.
And we stay there and we do all of our gaming there. Lots of wargaming, lots of other games, just like games. That's like all we do.
Yeah.
And so when I go to Gen Con, I almost am not necessarily there to sit down and play lots of games.
No.
Because I've just done that for a week straight.
In fact, I'm not sure we didn't play any games this year or last year.
No.
Maybe 3 years ago was the last time we played a game. Actually sat down and played a game. At Gen Con.
Yeah, and sometimes you do a little micro demo of things at people's booths, but that's not the same thing. Yeah.
Well, it is hard. There's just not a lot of open gaming.
No.
You can go to Lucas Oil, where you have to pay $4 or $5 an hour or something.
And there's a library.
And that's cool, but it's so far away.
That's also a hike away.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is, like you said, if you're not booked into events, it's tough.
You can't get into them. You can't just walk up, I want to play this,
Especially outside of vendor hall hours.
Yeah.
That games library, the open gaming is rammed. It's full, and it's kind of hard to get in there.
Well, I remember the year we did the Insurgency, right? That first full entire day, we spent our entire day at Lucas Oil Stadium.
And in the morning, wasn't that busy.
Nope. But like from 9 in the morning, we got there.
We left at 9 at night,
and
pretty much.
It was 9 or 10 at night. We played Cataclysm. We played Genesis. Talked to a lot of people. And that's what you do when you go there.
And it was an amazing time. But like 6 p.m. on the dot, when that vendor hall's closed, everyone leaves at like 5, 5:30.
Over there and play.
Where we were, a lot of people had that library just exploded with people. And there wasn't a seat available.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. And so, as such, you have to book in to either there into time slots, or you have to book your events. And a lot of those events you have to book very early with their
when they open
on that Sunday at 12 p.m. You're like, try to get in the queue. And it's that, there are times where I'm like, I don't need to do that.
No.
We've done a ton of gaming.
That's not why we go to Gen Con, frankly. Now if it was the only convention we went to, maybe that would be...
I would be doing
it. It would be different. But because we go to WBC, because we try to go to Buckeye Game Fest, because we this year are going to San Diego Historicon, those are places that we'll play John Company 5-player, and we'll play Fire in the Lake 4-player, and Gen Con's just not where we go to do that.
No.
We would do it, but we go there for different reasons.
Yeah, so as you can see, we'll talk about what we got here.
And you'll notice very few war games, right? These are about the only 2 war games that we got.
Yeah.
War games,
So we go there to kind of peruse all of the geek stuff in the vendor hall.
Yeah.
And to me, that is also the joy of Gen Con, is going there, seeing all the new RPG stuff, new dice sets, new bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And there's also like new games and stuff, but
we don't
war games.
But we don't go about the hotness though. What's so cool? I don't care about that. No. Right? We go because we want to enjoy the experience, and I think that's what Gen Con does in spades. Is you get an experience.
And I also like it because it's so big. It can pretty much be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
If you want to go there and compete in the Magic the Gathering tournaments, you can do that. If you want to go there and play some RPGs, you can do that. Even for us wargamers, we can go there and find stuff to enjoy and it's possible to organize games to play with people.
Yeah.
So it tailors to a lot of different crowds with what you want to do.
But ultimately, I think a lot of people, majority of people, go for the vendor hall.
I think so, yeah. That's
buying stuff. Draw. And we stop at every dice manufacturer.
Yep.
All of them. And sometimes, we'll stop at both Chessex.
Chessex over here, Chessex over there.
I mean, they all have different stuff. They all sell different amount. I mean, So we go for a lot of those things. Dice, accessories. I bought a new dice tower this year. We bought some new carrying cases, some new, just new dice that we didn't need. We needed those dice like I needed a hole in the head.
You always need new dice to replace the bad dice that don't roll well.
That don't work. And then, you know, we bought an RPG, we bought a couple of games, and just had a blast.
So let's kind of talk through what we've got here.
Yeah.
Because I think some of it, we'll get to some of the big stuff later, I think.
And I think what we're going to try to do is, particularly some of the accessories, we're going to try to direct you to their like sites and pages, because I'm telling you, there's some really cool stuff here.
Well, and people always ask, because like,
where'd you get that?
You bought a nice new dice tower.
Yeah, and frankly, it was one of the last things we did, and I wasn't necessarily looking for it, but as I was looking at those, I thought, well, that's a really nice, light, wooden, collapsible dice tower. And it was actually at the Flag Bearer Games booth.
Yes.
But the vendor was Fire and Ash. Fire and Ash. I can't get it right for whatever reason. We have a QR code here, but Fire and Ash, very nice lady. I think these are, I don't want to say handcrafted, but they're pretty nice.
No, but they do the designs.
They've
got a laser cut, and they put them out, and they went the extra mile with putting the little foam in them as well, so they're not quite as clattery.
So the interesting thing about this one, it's wooden, right? And it has, I think, 3 different planks, I'm going to call them.
So that it's legal.
Yeah, so that it's legal.
3 turns.
3 turns. It has an embossed, actually cut into the wood, shapes of different dice. I thought that was pretty classic. The other thing I really love about it is it's a maze, right?
Yeah.
It's a dungeon style thing. And you could mix and match the bottoms, and it's collapsible, so there you go. That's how you transport it. Pretty slick and easy. And then you just set it up on this neat little tray that has foam. And my tray, I don't know if you can see that, probably very dark, but it has a D20 in the shape of a beholder, which is way, way cool. And it says, and they call us monsters. I just thought this was really cute. I think it was $42.
I don't remember how much it was.
Which I think is very reasonable for something that's this
well, and it's artisan,
quality.
Right? It's not. It's not being churned out by some corporation.
Nope. And I'm gonna roll some dice here.
Oh yeah.
I love that sound.
Hey man, that's a 19. That's a pretty good dice tower right there.
The other one was a 4, so you can't have everything.
We have to throw that dice out.
We had advantage. We just bought that dice. Not gonna throw it out yet.
But so I really appreciated that, and we want to talk about some of these things because this will feature in, I imagine, some of the solo videos.
Oh yeah,
we'll do.
I'll replace my other one. I'll use the other one still, but
people
this is
ask us about our accessories all the time.
Yep.
So this is a little opportunity to say this is from Fire and Ash. Go out, look them up.
Yep.
They had all sorts of different deck boxes and
all kinds of
collapsible
funky
dice
stuff,
towers and stuff that they make. Lots of cool little bits and pieces.
And I think it was $42. I'm almost 100% positive. So that's pretty good, particularly in today's environment.
Again, a small artisan company as well. Happy to support that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat. So those were at the Flag Bearer Games booth. Mm-hmm. They kind of shared a booth, and they did that because they had a dice tower that was branded to go along with Flag Bearer Games' RPG, which is Nations and Cannons.
Yep.
Now, we played Nations and Cannons at Buckeye Game Fest.
Fifth edition D&D is basically what it is, just in a historical setting.
Yes, it's in the AmRev. Now, we bought all that last year at Gencon from them, played it, went back there this year. They had all this extra stuff, and it was nice to have a chat with them. I think we're at some point going to do kind of a video review just about that, because a historical American Revolutionary War module for D&D might be of interest to some of you, and if it's not, you're getting it anyway, sorry. Yeah. But we also, from them, got a few more maps. Last year we bought a New York map, and these are lovely cloth maps.
Very nice.
And they have a period piece on them, so this one's Boston Harbor. And so both looks cool, and is a really neat centerpiece to have when you're playing an RPG. Yeah. But it also comes with a digital PDF gazetteer of cool locations that are
that you can explore.
Some of them are researched, and some of them are real places. But they have game effects. Hey, if you go here, you might find this, that, or this, or this is a cool little piece. So that was really neat. We got that one. That we had a Philadelphia one as well. Because we played in New York last time we did this. Is that upside down? Yeah. So a little Philadelphia one.
And they're just, these are rich, right? I mean, just adds a lot of depth to what you're doing.
And they're real cloth.
Yeah, really nice.
And then we got a big...
This is the North American map.
This is the colonies, right?
Yeah. So Florida's at the bottom there.
So it's a period map, and this one's a bit bigger.
Yeah, it's twice the size,
but like,
so it's pretty nice.
It's very extra, but it's awesome, and it's just fun to play around with.
Well, this would be something that if you're doing a protracted campaign, you would want to use this to kind of track where you are and kind of what's going on. And you can play the game without it, but it's just a nice addition.
At worst, putting it out on a table helps to like set the scene a bit, right? Yeah. It's a nice little piece of extra bling. Those were really cool. The guys from Flagbearer Games are really genuine. They're very cool. They did a Kickstarter recently with like a big new source book, so we got that coming next year as well.
But at Flagbearer Games, it literally is 5th edition D&D.
Yep.
Just merged over into a realistic, historical American Revolutionary War period.
Yeah, so they got rules for like, you know, the black powder weapons and like what
how
would
to
be
fire
available
artillery
at the time. And then they created a new firebrand class as well.
Yep.
So there's extra bits, and then you know they got rules about how they like kind of. There's no magic, but how they have like a fudged magic system.
Well, it's like a skill.
Yeah,
and it's very cool. I played a bard, and it was enjoyable to use some of those abilities to do some things that were more difficult.
Yeah, and they call them like gambits of like
gambits.
It's taking like a risk or like using your skills to like persuade someone that, you know, in D&D would be like, I cast like an illusion and they believe it. And this one's like, you give a really good speech and convince people to do something or to scare them away so they don't do something. And like the end effect is the same as what would happen with a spell.
It's just not magic.
But non-magical.
Yeah.
It's a really neat system. We played it, it's wonderful. And so going back and getting more.
We also bought those explosion die.
Yeah, they have they had some aluminium. Oh, that's upside down. No one cares. Aluminium dice, which are red, white, and blue themed, and these are used for like grenades and artillery explosions.
And they're really hefty, right? They're they're made of aluminum.
You roll them.
It's not
like,
aluminium. Yeah, it's not aluminium.
Well,
it's aluminum. But yeah, they've got some heft to them. They're different sizes, so it's unnecessary to play the game.
Totally unnecessary.
And they were a little more than I thought they would be, but I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm happy to support that company trying to do something that's niche, out of the ordinary, but also that I've really enjoyed as well.
Well, and they mentioned to us, you know, they're doing they did the Kickstarter that we backed, and it was just additional source books.
Yeah, it's a big source book for like North America, like the northern colonies, what's there, the time, and it does all sorts of different things in there.
But he also brought up that one of the things they want to do in the future is to expand it and go into the southern colonies.
Which, that is mouthwatering.
Yeah.
That could be very cool.
Well, the southern colonies were way more insurgent-like. I mean, you had
that fits so well with the D&D.
You had more small-scale battles, less big pitched battles. You might have 100 men on one side versus 100 men on and just totally a different feel. Yeah. So a lot more agrarian, a lot more based in some of the Native Americans were involved a lot in Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So looking forward to that. I think that might be next year, but I think we're going to continue to try to support Flagbearer Games. We're going to do some events at an upcoming San Diego Historicon.
Yeah, I plan to run a session there, and I'm probably going to make it a mainstay of Buckeye Game Fest as well, just because it was such a cool system. It was really enjoyable, and there was a lot of interest for it as well. It was my first time running it last time. So
and you did a hell of a job. I think I said it in our Buckeye Game Fest. It was a fantastically put together, and you threw some fun in there, right? We fought a Wendigo.
It's got to be fun.
We fought a Wendigo. I mean... So based on local lore and legends, we fought a Wendigo.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably nothing like a Wendigo, but there's a legend about it. So, you know, I was thinking we might fight Sasquatch, or that's more American Northwest, but it'd be Bigfoot here. But I was glad we fought a Wendigo. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta
anyway.
throw them a curveball every so often.
Yeah, it was great.
So yeah, it was cool to see them again, that's for sure.
And who doesn't like a flaming wagon of horse manure?
Exactly.
I mean, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that was one of the key parts of one of our plans. I don't know that it made a huge difference, but it was fun.
But it was memorable.
It was memorable.
And isn't that what we're in D&D for?
Absolutely.
Yeah, D&D
RPGs
shenanigans in the 1700s.
What's not to like?
Exactly.
What's not to like?
Wonderful.
It's not to like.
So other dice that we picked up.
Oh, we found a new dice.
There's a new for us dice company. So
Yes.
the company is called Roll for Initiative, and it's Roll the number 4 Initiative.
Oh, here.
Now, weirdly enough, I bought one of their class sets like a year ago. I've never used it, but I bought it.
I didn't remember that, so...
No, I bought it separately. I just bought it.
Okay.
And
Like you bought it online?
I think so, yeah. Or I might have got it at Family Time Games.
Got
So
it.
they had a small selection. So specifically, their line of dice that I like, that we bought a set each of, is called Diffusion Dice. And they're just really nice. Unfortunately, we're going to have a hard time getting a close-up of these.
Yeah.
Really nice, really bold-numbered polyhedral dice sets.
Good colors, nice color choices.
And a great variety of them. And I got the set that is the Bard set. And so, did I?
I don't know what you got. I got a cool set. I don't know.
Well,
what
I
it
didn't
was.
know. I just got fancy colored ones. So my rogue set has like a little rogue symbol of like a hood and a knife for sneak damage on the 6 spaces. But they're just really cool looking dice. The numbers are very big and bold, which I like. But
Easier to see.
But these sets were 15-piece dice sets,
It was like $25.
which seems like a lot, but you get 4d6.
Yep.
You get 3d4.
And these are very cool D4, right?
Yes.
They're not the pyramidal style. These are...
They're called Arch D4.
There you go.
And I think they're patented by them.
Very cool.
So they have 4 sides, but the ends of them are rounded, so it can never land on the side. But it's not those there's like the crystal-shaped ones that you just kind of have to roll. These ones, you can toss them up and they'll just whoop, and they'll land. They're really, really nice. I really like those. Comes with 2d20s, 3d10s, 2d8s.
4d6.
So it's a much more full set
Yeah.
for a D&D campaign that's going to go on for a few more
I
levels.
mean, you literally could just take this box of dice
Yeah.
to a D&D night.
And I bought extra sets of the Arch D4s, because if you're playing a wizard and you've got magic missiles at high levels, you need even more. And I just really like them, and I substitute them into other games that might need them.
And you're a glutton for dice.
Yes. Well, and you can't, like, buying Arch D6 separately off their website is... You start getting into it's quite expensive, and then you get shipping on top of it. So when we're there, and it's a little pack of them for like $4, you're like, yes, please.
Hard to beat.
Yeah, it was a really great opportunity to get those.
So at that same place, I know we bought some of the enamel pins.
Yep.
I bought a ranger set, so a bow and quiver.
And I got a big barbarian two-handed axe.
Very nice.
Just
I think these are like $12 a piece.
I don't know. They're ridiculous
like that.
whatever they are.
Yeah,
but
they're nice.
The pins have taken off in the last 2 or 3 years.
Everybody
at Gencon.
has them.
Everyone's got them, and they're fun. They look great. You put them all on your bags and stuff.
Yeah.
We also from them got
These were so cool.
these really neat nice carriers. So this is it's this little box that's leatherette, and it opens up, and there's little compartments for your dice, but these are all magnetic, and these kind of all open up, and now you've got a dice tray that you can roll your dice in at D&D session. It lays flat, and it's got little guards against it. So that was, again...
It's not perfectly engineered, but it's very nice.
It'll do exactly what I need it to do.
That, yeah.
And so I'm going to take this set of dice, stick them in here with a miniature. I'm just going to walk to this to D&D, right?
Yeah.
And so those were really cool. I really appreciate those.
I like your winged dagger on top.
Yeah.
I kind of got their roll for initiative logo on it.
This is their paladin one.
Ah, the paladin.
They had a few different classes, and I thought
Paladins
this was...
are douchebags.
Yes, they are.
That's what
I
that
agree.
T-shirt said.
Which is so true. They're so boring.
Yeah, I love playing paladins though.
But
Nothing like being righteous.
Yeah.
Smiting people.
I also got a giant D20 from them.
Because you needed that.
It was smoky and green and black on the inside, and Why not, right? I
Why
can't put it through a
not?
dice tower. It's too big.
Why not? So, continuing on the dice theme, so we covered those very cool dice. What was the name of their company one more time?
Their company is called Roll for Initiative, and that's their diffusion dice sets.
Yes. So check those out.
Yeah.
And we bought these. That we're not hawking their crap, but these are some really nice dice.
And they have so many.
Yeah, they have a lot.
really, I'm a big fan of those.
And frankly, we saw them on Saturday. They might have had more had we been there on
yeah, I know
Thursday.
And they were sold out of a lot of different bits and pieces.
Yeah.
'Cause if you have class specific stuff, that's gonna fly off the shelves at Gen Con, right?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. We did stop off at Crystal Caste.
Yep.
They do the Gen Con dice.
Commemorative dice
So
every single year.
These years they're like red and silver.
And I think it's a very cool little mix.
Yeah.
2023. It's unreal.
Right.
It doesn't quite seem right.
Well, they're not usable because Gen Con is on the 6 and Crystal Caste is on the 1.
It's just about collecting.
Or is it the other way around? Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think, I've got a number of those now.
What I need when I roll.
Picked up an extra couple dice there, so they have the little D3s, which are
Those
cool.
are fun. I got one of those too.
I finally have one that's this shape. My other D3s are D6s with
Sure.
1, 2, 3 on them, which is
Which
not as fun.
I do not like those.
They roll better, but they're not as fun. These are cool.
And I picked up a new 20-sider that's kind of orange, translucent. I think it looks really cool. It's hard to read, frankly, but I still like the color.
Yeah, see, and I got like a green and a blue and a purple one, but with bold numbers, because that's...
Stands out.
I'm not trying to hide my rolls from the
I
DM
am.
of like, it's definitely a 20.
Oh, that was a 22.
I know you can't read it across the table, but it's definitely not. That's a 20, not a 2.
Yeah, right.
This is a natural 20. So yeah, Crystal Caste, a classic.
Actually, I didn't think we spent as much money on dice as I thought we did.
Well, I also went to
yeah.
Chessex.
Yeah.
And I bought some sets of dice.
For historical games.
Yes. And you're like, that's so boring, but also like, I have a problem. So, So I got a dark blue.
The first step is admitting it.
Yes.
That's the first step.
It
doesn't mean you need to move on.
I'm happy to admit.
Just admit it.
Yeah. So I got dark blue with white pips, and I got grey with black pips. And I bought these so that I could replace the dice in a lot of my American Civil War games.
Yeah.
Because I bought a couple from MMP, and they come with the white die and the red die, the little square ones, right? We all know those. That come in every one of their games. So I wanted to have themed dice because, once again, I have a problem.
And we looked for butternut. I really like the butternut color, but gray is the more common color.
Yes.
So,
and then
very good representations of the Union and the
and it's
CSA,
and it's silly and unnecessary, but that's what I enjoy those. But I also bought the gray ones because they're going to double up with these kind of powder blue ones, which I'm going to use for French and German in World War One.
Yeah.
So specifically, I was inspired by, I did an unboxing of Verdun 1916 Steel Inferno. That has 10d6 in it.
Nice.
And so I'm like, great, well, we're going to have 10d6 of each color for each of those two in there. And if we're going to do,
That's one of our Guns of August
yes, it is.
games we're going to play.
And that's part of the reason why I'm like, well, what a great opportunity.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
So we got those, but that's, those are they're kind of regular d6s, but I'm that insane person where I love, if I can, and I can get the dice colors to match the factions, if I can do it, I'm in.
Well, I have a ton of dice up there. You have a ton of dice that are historically specific. Right?
Most of those are World War II.
Yep, most of them are World War II.
It is tough. There is one brand out there that does World War I ones, but most of them are sold out. But they put the symbol on the 1 and not the 6. Which
the
is
Italian dice. The Italian dice I have that are very cool have the eagle symbol on the 1.
Which that's the magic. I can understand that.
Okay.
But
all right, we're going there.
Yeah.
All right.
But
sorry.
For every other one, it's a tough ask to do that. I want the symbol on the 6 because I should be trying to roll that.
That's the way it should be.
I think.
That's the way it should be. So you can see we have a problem with dice.
Yeah.
I feel like I restrained myself this year. You did not. So I'm going to point that out.
I think I did, but I also like this is specifically for a cause.
Here it comes.
I've definitely done worse at previous Gen Cons.
That's true.
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, and we went to one of our favorite dice places, they're now, they were MDG, Metallic Dice Games, but they're now, I can't even remember
Fan? I can't remember. They just rebranded just barely, but they're really popular, and they had sold out of like a ton
I think
of
most
stuff.
of what they had.
So
was
it was
gone.
kind of threadbare there, which was kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, because I probably would have dropped $20 or $30.
No, it's really easy to spend a lot of money there.
We have a lot of their dice.
Yeah, they're also kind of like Roll for Initiative. Very crisp, very clear dice, which is kind of a hallmark of what
I
I'm
have
going
some
for.
metal dice from them that are heavy. I mean, they could be weapons.
Yeah.
You know,
throw those with authority when you want to hurt someone.
You don't want to throw them all over your table because you're going to have pockmarks left in your table. But
that's why you get a nice foam-lined dice
that's true.
tower.
Yep, very true. Boop, boop, boop. That might destroy this, though. Those are heavy, man.
Yeah.
So that's dice. Dice are done.
Went a bit
right?
nice.
Let's move on from dice.
So let's talk about Eschaton, little cultists here.
So this is a game from Archon Games that we bought, I think, 2 years ago at Gen Con. Because it was kind of new at that point, off of a Kickstarter. It is an area-controlled deck-building game.
Dudes on a map.
Based in a world where cultists rule and there's different factions and it's like all-out war.
It's the apocalypse, and you are vying for your cult to be the last one standing as like the Dark One comes down and rules.
And we actually have little praise the Dark One. So maybe shouldn't let my wife see that. She might have some questions.
They had some really cool enamel pins.
Oh yeah.
But their whole thing is that it's like
dark.
Yeah, they've got they released an RPG of their little world. They have another game.
Something Nexum.
Yeah.
I haven't been as interested in that one, but we played Eschaton. We loved it.
It's excellent.
Everyone we played with loved it. It's a game we need to figure out how to get to a convention. It's not a war game.
No.
But a very interesting game. I bought all of the expansions. I think there were 2 of them. Ruins of Sigil and something else.
Well, they're like smaller little
I bought all those, but the one thing I did not buy 2 years ago were the additional meeple cultists.
Yeah, custom meeples to replace the little cubes.
So literally they're little priest-looking, robe-wearing cultists. I really prefer the cubes, but I thought, let's try it. So this was like $12, I think.
Yeah, and they're little guys in robes, and they have like
faces,
masks printed on.
It's just a cool little. Anyway, we really enjoyed that game. That's a game I would like to play again in the future.
Yeah, and
even our father-in-law liked that.
If I'm not playing a war game, this is the style of game mechanically that I love. I think the theme's also pretty fun.
Well, and lots of player interaction, lots of backstabbing. Very cool theme. Yeah. And the deck building is really unique.
And it's very it's
very tight.
Yeah, it's not one where you get like, I've got like 5,000 cards. It's
you might have 25 cards, and it's you got to mill through them to get your good stuff.
It's fun.
But I bought that. We went by that stand. They have a new Kickstarter coming out that I will definitely be backing. I think it's supposed to start sometime this fall. It is called Eschaton Iconoclasm.
Yes.
And it's a cooperative expansion to the game, so it makes it so you could play together.
I think
now.
you all fight against a big old enemy that's coming
probably.
in.
I always say, and those that are Eurogamers, I apologize, but it's like, it's okay if we fight each other. Yeah. Why do we have to always be on the same side? Yeah. I guess wargamers like us, we expect to fight each other, so we don't care, but I'm not so weak that I go to a game night and I'm like, I lost. You beat me.
Everyone was mean to me.
Move on, man. It's just a game. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Really interested. They also gave me kind of an expansion.
So this is like a one or two page adventure for that RPG.
Yeah, and I thought, boy, that looks kind of cool. I was reading through it and I'm like, that might not be. But we got
and the RPG is like a little A5 size book.
Yeah.
And it was,
kind of unique.
100 pages or
Really, if you haven't checked out Archon Games, go to their site, check their stuff out. I think Eschaton is still available.
Eschaton's really good.
It's really good. So we got that. I was very grateful that we got that. Had a good time talking to them and standing at their booth. So
we also have Dogfight from PSC Games. Dogfight is the latest in their 20-minute series.
Rule the skies in 20 minutes.
Yes.
So the skies of World War I.
They did Blitzkrieg. They did Caesar. Now they're on Dogfight.
Now, one thing I do want to point out. The first game in the series, Blitzkrieg, was done by Paolo Mauri.
Yes.
This one is Carlos Rossi's. So I don't remember what Caesar was.
I think that was Palamonius.
Okay. So a different designer. You've played this at...
Yeah, I played this last year at UK Games Expo, and it was funny because the demo copy had arrived on their table, like on their doorstep that day, and none of the people knew how to play it or what it was really.
So, which is kind of funny.
Luckily, I've played lots of games, and it was like this little PDF printout of the rules,
Yeah.
and so like I played it, and played it with my brother. We played it a few times. Very light, fun little game. Where you're trying to kind of outmaneuver each other on this circular board.
Looks pretty simple.
But they had
the Snoopy expansion. So
can't call it that though.
yeah, literally it looks like Snoopy on the top, flying his doghouse. So the Red Baron strikes again. Kind of cool. They also gave me, I guess there was a misprinted.
Yeah, so there's one counter
there I'll
in here
need
that
to
I think
figure
is
out.
misprinted or not in there, so we'll just replace that.
But we have enjoyed all two of the games in the series that we've played. Blitzkrieg, abstract as heck, but very interesting. Caesar, less abstract, more area.
I think it's more.
Was it more abstract?
Because of what you're actually doing. Blitzkrieg is very abstract.
Right,
It's
but I
cubes
felt
and
like
trans.
it was more like area control. I could feel it more.
Sure.
Really
That's
enjoyed
fair,
that
that's
one though too.
Yeah.
So this one, dogfighting for
And
20
those
minutes?
two were so wildly different.
Yeah.
This is very different again. This is a tactical
Well,
game.
and we did not see a prototype, but they have a new one coming out called Crime Syndicate.
Which looks like it's kind of...
Looks like Peaky Blinders, frankly, if you want to look at that.
It does, but I'm not sure, based on like those tall buildings with the hanging washing between
okay.
them, it might be like a New York type thing or
Sure.
a Chicago.
Sure.
But at first I thought it was Peaky Blinders
Yeah.
too.
When I turned
Not
that over,
Peaky
I was like,
Blinders.
oh, Peaky Blinders. So anyway, kind of a neat little series from PSC Games. Plays fast. You can play like 3 games in an hour.
Yeah,
I
or
mean,
it's
just
a light little filler game.
Yep.
Boop, diddle, done.
something you could take on a plane and play with a child or a spouse. I mean, so very glad to get that one.
Yeah.
That's a World War I game that we're probably going to work into the
Yeah.
Guns of August
And I
event
know how
because
that
it'll be
sounds,
10
but
minutes.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah,
this
we'll
is
play it
easy
3 or
for
4
us to
times
do.
and call it good. So, and we did not buy these at the PSC.
No,
Games
I
booth.
don't think PSC was here. This was. They had their names on a shirt. I forgot
can't
what it was,
remember.
but they're distributed through someone else
Yeah.
at Gen Con at least.
And I think Ares had some of Nuts Publishing games, and they might have also had PSC games, but
Yes,
we
they had
never really
Nuts.
dove
I saw-
into their.
Something there, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, dogfight. So the next World War I game that I bought, isn't that...
Hey, at least it wasn't me this time.
Why do we continue doing this? Why?
This
Why?
one was an accident.
Well, it was. So, as we all know, Axis and Allies is one of the iconic game series for all of us, right? Every Gen Xer and even millennials knew what Axis and Allies was.
Every time I talk to someone and it comes up that I run a Wargaming YouTube channel, they always say, "Oh, is that like Axis and Allies?" And I say, "Yes."
Kind of.
Because that's their frame of reference. This is the war game that
It's a
people
war
know.
game. So, but this is Axis and Allies 1914, so this is World War One.
Yep.
Right? It plays up to seven people. You've got the Central Powers made up of Austria, Hungary, Germany, and the Ottoman Empire. And I'm not sure how far geographically it goes out.
Yeah, because it's not the whole world.
Yeah, we haven't
it's
dove
It's
into
mostly
it.
Europe and Africa.
Versus the Entente, right? You've got the British Empire, you've got the French, you've got the Italians down in Italy, and then you've got
It was Russia
and the USA. And Russia and the USA player, I think, plays
one power, yeah, you play them together.
So I saw this. It was kind of near the end of the day, and I'm like, you know what? I want it.
They had it out on display.
It was beautiful.
And it looks stunning on the table.
Little old battleships with huge smokestacks. You had like freight liners like the Lusitania. And each of the action figures, as is similar in the other Axis and Allies games, have different poses. So just looked great. So I was sucked right in. Had they not had it set up on the board table, maybe I wouldn't have been as sucked in, but I'm like, I got to get that.
Well, and this came out like 10 years ago.
Oh, it's not new.
And when it did, I personally was like, oh man, that's so cool. It looks great. And I was like, I'll never play this.
Yeah.
So I never had pulled the trigger on it. And then we just kind of drifted away from Axis and Allies.
Yeah.
but I'm really glad you bought it, and now I'm really excited to play that.
Well, this will be one I think we'll focus on next year, right?
Yeah.
We bought it now. Maybe next August we'll play it and get 4 or 5 guys together and have a full 7-player game. So that was probably my biggest purchase, but glad we got these games and stuff in. What else?
We got
2 more things. That
a couple bits and pieces. So we've got HackMaster 5th edition. I know a lot of people just turned off the video right then. Our brother-in-law, Brum, he's starting up a table and he wants to run HackMaster. You had played a version of HackMaster years ago.
15 years ago.
I've never played, but they talk about it all the time.
It's an interesting, unique system for sure.
And so this is the 5th edition core player's handbook. So I'm going to read up on it, see what it's like.
Yeah.
And
combat is very unique.
I don't want to be the one idiot at the table doesn't know the rules.
Sure.
I will let someone else be that. And so...
And we didn't buy 2. I know we talked about each of us getting one, but I'm like, you know what?
I'll read it and then you can read it.
We can we'll deal with it.
And then someone else can be the guy who doesn't have it.
I will say, and what's the name of the company? I can't remember the name of the company.
It was like Kessler or Keyser and someone else.
Keyser and Company
it's
or something?
K&C, Keyser and something.
Company, I think. This is a nice book.
Yeah, this is like a leather bound
style.
But it has like it's a scale like a dragon on it.
It's really nice. I mean, they've got embossed swords and
you can download the rules.
I mean, it's very cool.
I think they have like intro rules on the PDF you can download for free.
Look at that. That's just going to look so nice on a shelf. Yeah. And obviously they had about 10 different source books as well.
Yeah. Did you see the one that had just the eye on it?
I did. I saw that.
That was their like encyclopedia. I don't know if it was a bestiary, but like it had.
Well, the one
a lot of stuff in it.
The one I looked at was, I think it was called Advanced Combat or something like that. And I was like, oh, that looks interesting. But
so yeah, that's something that we will do. I don't know how much that's going to feature on our channel, but just know that we do that kind of stuff as well for fun.
It's something we'll bring up in the monthly debrief.
Most likely, yeah. And I think the last thing.
Yeah, I think the last thing.
Reasonable.
We got a couple other things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But people we saw and
spoke to. So, this is Blood and Plunder from Firelock Games.
And I want to say one thing. If you know Alexander at all, I've known him for 15 years. It's like a tractor beam when some kind of miniatures game is around. And we are literally on the last 4 or 5 aisles, and we're walking around, and out of nowhere, he's like, ooh, Blood and Thunder, or what? Blood and Plunder. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And we walked over to the stack of these huge boxes.
This is a silly box.
And it's like ship-to-ship pirate combat with some land combat as well. Yeah. What's not to like? It's ships.
So this is like 28 millimeter miniatures. I have to put them all together and paint them. But they have...
Hand me that little box while you're talking.
Oh, yeah.
I want to just kind of...
Take it out.
Yeah.
And but it has little sloops and schooners. They even had up to frigates.
They had merchant ships.
And you can do it. So this 2-player core set comes with like a Royal Navy schooner and then a pirate schooner as well. So you can like shoot each other with your cannons and then do a boarding action. We did also buy a canoe.
And that is a really big canoe. Like,
yeah.
I didn't think it was quite that large.
But you can fit, like
3 or 4 guys
4 or 5 28 millimeter guys with their bases should fit in there very easily, which I already have at home. And part of this was like, oh, this looks so cool. And when I saw what was in this box, in my brain I thought, well, I have to have it. Mm-hmm. And I have to have it because I'm planning to do a Nations and Cannons game that's naval based, and I have already planned out a lot of this stuff that we would be using. Like, you would be sailing a schooner on certain missions, and you would be doing naval combat, and they have the frickin' miniatures for it.
Yeah,
so
a whole crew of like 10 guys for each ship. Right?
Yeah, and I already have a bunch of that stuff at home already, so I'm like, great, I could just like put those guys in these boats as the Marines.
Firelock Games.
So.
And they had so much stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, this is like the base set, 2 ships, 2 crews, a source book.
Yeah, it has the full rule book, couple decks of cards for like events and activations.
I mean,
they had
dice
sets in them.
We could have bought additional frigates. We could have bought merchantmen. We could have bought smaller. I mean, it's just insane.
There were like those like militias. Yep. There was Native
American,
tribes.
and they were more like
Caribbean. Because it's pirates, right?
Yeah.
But like,
they weren't the Native American tribes like the Iroquois or the Abenaki that we were hoping.
No, but I have those at home, and we have a canoe, friend. Yeah. So I have to build a list and paint it so that we can use that next time. And then also, there's also a skirmish game.
Yeah, right.
So this serves a dual purpose. We'll play the skirmish game and probably do a review on it at some point. Once I've got it all together. But
in about a year.
The kicker, like what sealed the deal, was like, well, shoot. If I never play the skirmish game, I will be using these and other things that I already have planned. So
actually, for the price that we paid for that, I thought it was very reasonable.
No, yeah, I've paid a lot more for a lot less.
The dice are very cool. They're custom 10-sided dice, black dice with the 10 or the 0. The skull and crossbones.
Come on.
What's not to like? And then we bought some condition dice that kind of identify fatigue or wounds
they replaced the little cardboard tokens, so that's nice to kind of have as well.
But Blood and Plunder, Blackbeard versus Maynard. Very excited. Historically based. So
it'll be grand whatever happens.
Yeah. So and you'll have a blast painting them and assembling them.
Yeah, this is like my entire winter taken care of.
It was funny. You open the boxes and each of the sprues has they have like the main hull of the ship, but then there's like sails and masts and different rope thingies. I mean,
and each of the figures as well is actually quite a few pieces.
Yeah. What was that? I saw a little piece of paper that had like a diagram.
Oh, those are all
in here. Pretty crazy.
Exploded diagrams. But like you can swap all the heads, you can customize them all. And that was also neat for like some of the different the native tribes that they had. Mm-hmm. They had head swaps so that you can have them as Caribbeans or you can have them as like Africans. And you just would paint them differently, basically, which is a neat way of doing all that stuff as well.
Very fascinating. I'm looking forward to that, frankly. And I think I'm the one that said, you got to get it.
Yeah, you pushed me over the edge, but I was really...
I'm like, just get it.
I was thinking about it.
You got to just get it. So
yeah.
But I really like the little canoe. It's not really to scale. That's the only thing. I was kind of looking at it.
It's a big war canoe. It's not a little too. Right. We'll do it.
Yeah, it'll work. But now I'm thinking you need a second one for someone to be chasing us, like in Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, or it's these guys are going to try and raid you on your little scooter.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or we'll smuggle some stuff.
Or I'll buy another one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We should have maybe gotten two. Because I want to say this was like 15?
I don't even remember.
And it's fully assembled. It's thick,
one piece of resin.
One piece of resin. You're going to paint it.
Yep.
It's going to look good and hold the figures.
So yeah, that was the other big purchase of the day. And I could easily have kind of doubled what we spent there, but
I'm glad we showed.
I want to do that because this is a lot of work as well. Sure. Of like putting us all together. If I can get it done and we use it all, I'm happy to invest more in it.
Sure.
That's what I'm telling myself.
We still have a bunch of Gladiator stuff we bought last year that we never played. You put it together. It looks amazing.
I did. I put it all together. I painted it. We just
need to play that.
That was the old.
We need more time. Can we create more time?
Is there a way we could create a pocket dimension where time doesn't
exist? Zip in, play for 12 hours, come back.
We don't age, and the rest of the world pauses.
Yeah. We'll have to study that.
Someone work on that. Someone smarter than us, get that done. Let us know when it's done, and that'll be really great for us. Thank you.
So let's talk about the other things that we did, because we didn't just buy stuff, right? We walked around, we talked to a couple of people. One of the first people we saw was Jeff McAleer from the Gaming Gang, as we were signing in for our press badges. Good to talk to him. He does a totally different thing than we do. He's more varied. We really focus on
he's got very eclectic
historic war games and historical games. Nice guy. We talked to him for 5 or 10 minutes. We had to run, but good to talk to you, Jeff. The other funny thing that I thought was we signed up for these press badges months ago, right in January, I think, right? So I went through the process. I signed up, and I get a return email saying, "Hey, Grant, you've got your press badge. Just pick it up in the room, blah, blah, blah." Awesome. And Alexander went through the same process, and I think he thought, "Oh, everything's good."
Yeah.
And we show up. I'm like signing in.
And they're like, "Here's your badge."
Yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, Alexander, your turn." And she's like, "Well, it's not here."
No.
"Well, let me check this list." "Well, it's not here."
I'm at the very bottom of the list, and it says
Incomplete.
application incomplete.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to check my emails. So I had to go through a bit of a rigmarole to get it done because the badges were sold out.
I just thought to myself, you know what? We're just going to roll with this. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But about 10 minutes of an inconvenience, and it was all good. So next year, what are we going to do?
Next year, we're going to double check our emails.
Double check our emails.
But for reference, I'm Alexander Klein from the players ampersand hashtag 39 ; aid.
So we have changed our name unbeknownst.
She was trying to change it back. I'm like, oh, I don't care.
I didn't even look.
I'm
Was
not
mine
gonna-
correct?
No, yours is fine. But
Okay.
I think mine was messed up.
Because of...
And that may be why it was incomplete, because they're like, what is going on with
the
this
players
nonsense?
ate blogs.
Yeah, like,
Hilarious. Just hilarious. So that was fun. But talked to Jeff McAleer. We did not stand in line to get into the convention hall, which was fantastic.
so really, my 10-minute delay helped
us. I will agree. I will agree with that assessment. It was a nice delay.
Because usually you stand and there's a ton of people, and, it's just like kind of sway and close.
Yeah, but we got right in. We did see some of our friends that we've seen over the years. John Connor.
Yep, and his brother Clint. We played Genesis with them a few years ago.
Like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
At Gencon. And so they were there, they stopped by, they shouted out to us. We're like, "Hey," and we remember them. We don't have terrible memories. We did spend like 5 hours playing a game with them.
Yes.
But it was nice to see them.
We stopped by Osprey, saw David
Thompson. And actually, I had taken some rule books. Here, got these nice and fanned out. Oof. So these are now signed, so they're unsellable.
Yes.
Basically, they're ruined. But I got all of my Undaunted series of games. So Undaunted Normandy, North Africa, Reinforcements, and Battle of Britain that we just got.
Yep.
I didn't take Stalingrad because that's at your house, and I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
But then I got Lanzareth Ridge because I had him sign the other 3 of those.
Valiant Defense ones.
Yeah, so that was nice. Thank you, David. We talked to David for a good 10, 15 minutes, and we also checked out his game called General Orders.
General Orders, yep.
It's a World War II worker placement style game. We didn't really demo it, but you can see what it is.
And they were like sold out.
Yeah, so they didn't have any, and I was kind of disappointed by that because that was one I did want to get.
And he said they brought a certain number of copies, and it wasn't all that many, but they were selling out of them in the first 5 minutes of every day.
Yeah.
So
it looks pretty cool. It's like
point.
a $30 or $35 game, and it's in such a cute little tiny box. So
even smaller than Dogfight.
Oh yeah, it's kind of in between these two. But good to see David, and there we ran into
A gentleman called Henry.
And Henry is connected with Rodney Smith from Watch It Played.
Yeah, they played Combat Commander together.
Yeah. So
and probably Coin as well.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. I'm not saying it was us that led him to that, but he was like, "Hey, thanks for sharing your knowledge of like that game." And if you know us, you know I love Combat Commander. I think you do as well. Yep. We have played probably 25 scenarios of that game. There's more that we could play.
There's a lot more,
I wish we could play more.
That could be a lifestyle game very easily.
But I love Combat Commander, so it was really rewarding for me to see that Henry had kind of taken a shine to that based on an opinion we gave and has had fun with Rodney. And Rodney's a great guy. We've played Watergate with Rodney, and he's been a very nice fellow. I mean, he's Canadian. Everybody likes Rodney.
That's true.
I just don't like his choice in bacon. But it's not really bacon. It's ham. But anyway, that was nice. Was there anyone else that I feel like there was. But...
So we spoke to John Lundgren from Fallen Dominion.
Yep. I even mentioned that we needed to make sure we spoke about
we're good friends with him. He is a great supporter of our channel, and his company makes a game called Fallen Lands.
Fallen Lands.
That's what it is.
I was drawing a blank.
I want to call it Fallen Apocalypse, but that's not what it's called. But it's a post-apocalyptic narrative-driven,
kind of mission quest style game.
Yeah, it's not quite pick up and deliver, but it feels that way. Like
Yeah.
you're going out trying to do things, and then you get these like really cool pulpy narrative post-apocalyptic / sci-fi events. And that's really the joy of the game.
Well, you read them, and they're really well written, and they just get you thematically immersed.
And John writes all of those.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it.
That's his real passion. It's almost like an authorial. And they've got a big second edition, big box of that they did a Kickstarter for. They had it on display. It looks wonderful.
Well, and
excited to play that again.
The graphics have just been ramped up. The map looks better.
Convenience with the trays.
Yep,
and
they have little
stuff.
holders, but it's a fun game. We've played that. It's a very long game, right? It's not a game you're going to play in 45 minutes.
No.
It's going to take you 3-4 hours because everybody's reading 8 or 10 of those a game.
And then you're almost like role playing what happens because some of the events are so fun.
Yeah.
You get into it.
And the other thing I really like about it is you have different characters, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of build your tableau of different refugees, survivors. They have different weapons and abilities. You find stuff. And it's just, their custom combat dice system is just very cool and fun. There's nothing not to like about that game, other than it's a little long. Get the right team together, the right players together.
As long as you understand what you're getting yourself into,
you're going to have a good time.
Fine, yeah.
But it was good to see him. Hadn't seen him. I think they hadn't been there since COVID started, so like 2020.
Yeah, I think it's been a few years. But I'm really excited for the second edition.
Yeah.
That looks really slick.
And they have an expansion in there called Descendants that's coming out. Just adds more stuff.
Yeah.
So, but good to talk to him. Who else did we talk to?
We stopped by Leader Games.
Yes.
I don't remember the gentleman's name.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
So I'm very sorry about that.
But he's on the team.
Yeah.
And he says he talks to Cole Worley a lot about Wargames and watches our stuff.
It was nice to have a chat with him.
So that was nice. And we wanted to talk to Cole. He was unfortunately in one of the halls demoing, I think, Arcs, their newest upcoming game. Is
that the space one?
It is. Yeah, I backed it on Kickstarter, but I had 3 or 4 rule books that John Company and Oath and something else.
We'll have to take those to San Diego Historicon because he's going to be there. So we'll have to have him sign them there.
And then the last thing that we haven't done yet.
No.
We have dinner this evening. We've been invited. Thank you for your graciousness, Darren. But Darren Leveloff, what I consider to be the godfather of the States of Siege series system. His game kind of started it all, Israeli independence. Really nice guy. We've played Habsburg Eclipse, Ottoman Sunset. I've played...
Which I have the rules for those, so I'm going to have him autograph those
I've got Soviet Dawn. Really have enjoyed those games. So we're meeting him tonight for dinner at Giordano's. Right downtown. That's going to be fun. And then coming along with him is Jason Matthews. I've met Jason before, a fantastic individual. Really look forward to seeing him again. But Jason Matthews of Twilight Struggle and Imperial Struggle fame. And
so you'll never guess what rule books I have in my bag for him to autograph.
I have 4 of mine. Twilight Struggle, Imperial Struggle. I have a game of his called Founding Fathers that we've never played.
No, we haven't.
And then my 4th game is 1989 that he designed with Ted Torgerson. So looking forward to that. That's at 7:30 tonight. We've got 3 or 4 hours. We're going to shoot this video and then play a couple of games possibly.
And Darren's in town to demo his new editions of Ottoman Sunset and Habsburg Eclipse. So I think that's very exciting news because Ottoman Sunset,
it's out of print.
Is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah,
it's like that one and Zulus at the Ramparts are 2 of my favorites, and for it to kind of come back into print so more people can experience it and it'll be a nice new fresh edition, I really think I have high hopes for those. I think that's going to be really good. So it's cool that he's back in town demoing those new ones, and that's going to get into the hands of gamers again.
And he's always been very nice and gracious with us when he's communicated with me, and so has Jason. I met Jason for lunch with Kevin Bertram from Fork Circle Games and Sebastian Bay last summer when my family and I were in D.C. That was fantastic. So I had a good time. Look forward to talking to them tonight and eating some good pizza. But I had a blast. And I think the final thing we did, this is our new tradition.
Yes.
Which is pretty interesting. But after our final day, we have been going to Squealers, which is a barbecue joint here in Indianapolis, on we go to the one on 86th Street.
Yep.
And kind of pigging out on
Barbecue.
And I'm still indigestion still kicking in.
You could see me hiccuping a little bit throughout this video. That's why I'm in a barbecue coma.
Yeah, we had pulled pork, we had chicken wings, we had mac and cheese.
Yeah, I think that's the third year we've done in a row.
It's kind of become a mini tradition.
Yeah,
and I enjoy it
because it's good fun.
Near my house, so we have to come back here and go and now we're shooting our video. So I had a blast.
Yes.
Always have a good time at conventions. This year was a little different because I've been sick recently, and it was good to get out. I feel good, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah, so we just did the one day as part of that as well.
I would have been unable to do more.
Yeah.
I've been recovering.
Last year was interesting because we did the Thursday, and then we were like, we need to go back. And I think this year we were just like, we went on the one day, and so it was like, all right, no holds barred.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't come back because it was Saturday, and Sunday it's not.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sunday's kind of everybody's packing up.
A lot of the stuff's all sold out, and it's half the people aren't there.
My son is going tomorrow with some of his friends, and I would love to go along with them, but I don't want to horn in on their fun.
Sure.
They're really into D&D, and I texted him on our way home. I'm like, you need to go to some of the places. They have like a lot of D&D aids.
Yes.
For GMs and players, and
there's so
many options.
We talk about war games all the time on this channel, but I think RPGs is a second love.
Yeah.
I love it so much, and they have so much stuff there that you're like, this is so cool. Yeah. Most of it's so unnecessary, but it's so cool.
Yeah.
And they know. That's how they get you. There's like cool accessories and stuff.
We looked at stuff like from DM screens to just tracking aids for monster hit points and so many other things. I mean, I've bought a lot of these little packs of kind of side adventures. I saw tons of those.
Or like a deck of NPCs where you're like, this is the shopkeeper. All right, what is it?
And that just helps. As a GM or a DM, it's hard to create everything from scratch. Sometimes you need inspiration, and those things are helpful.
Especially if you're on the fly.
Yeah.
Where you're like, cool.
Yeah.
They're doing something random.
Let's figure it out. Yeah.
I could just make up a name, but this card also has like a little background and like
a side quest that you might be able to go to.
And and like some motivations for them. Okay, cool. Just little helpful bits and pieces that make D&D a bit easier to run as well. So yeah, I had a blast this year. I have a blast every year.
There's something special about Gen Con. I don't care what anybody says. I hear a lot of complaints about crowds, and I get it.
It is very busy, and it is very stinky.
Yep.
This year was...
Please shower.
The concrete this year was at another level. Normally it doesn't faze me.
Interesting,
I was fazed
today was a high of 82. Low humidity. It was beautiful, but I think yesterday was really hot.
But also,
Thursday was really hot.
If you go on Thursday, it's not as bad because it's day one.
Everybody's fresh.
I think Saturday was like.
There were times. I hate to say it, but there were times that people were walking in front of us, and we literally had to
I'm like
go to the side.
I would weep
because we couldn't take it anymore. So
yeah.
Don't think we're elitists. He's an elitist. But, he's British.
Yeah, I don't know. Have a shower when you go to a con.
Yeah, right. Or put some deodorant on, please.
Just like something.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I still feel fresh.
I don't know. People are like allergic to some deodorants, but like not that many people.
Yeah, right.
But
we'll go Gen Con next year. Maybe in doubt because I know you have a family reunion.
Yeah,
thing.
I might be out of the country next year, which sucks.
I'll go with Brum. I'll probably go with our brother-in-law and his friends and
it's
have a good time.
Down the road. It's impossible not to.
Sure.
So yeah, I had a wonderful time. I always do. This was no exception.
Yep.
And hopefully, for people out there who might be kind of on the fence about it, if it's something you want to go to, and especially if you like RPGs and board games, you definitely you've got to do it at least once.
Sure.
If you're looking for war games, you're gonna have to organize that yourself. That's a bit tougher to come across, but I think everyone has other interests outside of war games. No one's like, I just do war games and that's it. It's like, surely you've got other interests or can dabble in some of this other stuff, and Gen Con is the place for it.
Definitely.
So, and that was our kind of Gen Con 2023 debrief, and appreciate you everyone for tuning in. I've been Alexander of theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.